work, one whole day to play. Come on, everybody, wear your roller skates today. It's Saturday, 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 it's Saturday, Saturday, it's Saturday, Saturday, it's Saturday, yeah.
Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Career Exploration Saturday. I'm your host, Ebony Tyler. I have real conversations with real people about real jobs. So this week, I'm going to give a big shout out to Mr. Southwood. Listen, Mr. Southwood reached out to me maybe like right when I first started doing Career Exploration Saturday. And he said, hey, I got someone for you to interview. She's going to be good. You need to call her and you need to text her. You need to call her and you need to email her. She's a makeup artist. She'll do it. And so, I trusted him. I called him. Listen, Mr. Southwood is responsible for today's interview. Miss DeShawn Hatcher. Listen, folks. DeShawn was amazing. She is a celebrity makeup artist. She's modest. She will not say that she's a celebrity makeup artist, but she is. She is an author. She wrote a book called Assisting Rules, The Ultimate Guide to Assisting Makeup Artists and Hairstylists in Beauty, Fashion, and Print. She was super cool. We had a lot of fun. She gave some really raw advice, some really great information about the makeup industry. And she shares a super cool story about meeting Reggie Wells, Oprah's longtime makeup artist. Look, she's even in the Guinness's Book of World Records. And I had a little fangirl moment. I had to ask her about Beyonce and Jay because she has met them. So, it's the Brooklyn in me. I'm sorry, I had to. So anyway, you know what? Let's just jump right into my conversation with DeShawn Hatcher. So good afternoon. Welcome, DeShawn. Welcome to Career Exploration Saturday. I'm so glad.
Thank you for having me. It's lovely to be here. Thank you, Miss Ebony, for having me.
Yes, thank you for being here. So I like to start all the conversations. Can you please tell us who you were at 16? Did you have it all together? Did you know what you wanted to be?
Ooh, who I was at 16. Oh, good God. Well, I was a nerd. I was a nerd. So that's good. I was a little nerdy. I love music, things like that. I love sports. I thought I thought at 16 I was going to be a tennis player. I thought I was going to be a tennis star, but that didn't happen.
Okay.
And I love singing. I loved anything artsy, fartsy, sportsy wise. That's kind of where my brain was at. I was always playing some type of sport or singing. That was where I was. So my aspirations were to either go to fame, to go to the high school fame, or to be the first Serena, first Venus of Serena, that kind of thing. That's where my brain was at that age. That was a hard age, but that's where my brain was at that age. Yeah.
And then what happened when you finished high school?
I had aspirations to do this and do that, and I sang around the city for a while, had my own shows and stuff, but I realized you don't want to do that either. I didn't know. I didn't want to do that either. And I just was kind of went to school for a minute and just was kind of like walking around. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do. And so I just started to work, just getting jobs and just working, trying to pay my bills and things like that. So I didn't have I wish I could say I knew when I was 2 that I was going to be doing what I'm doing today. No, I had no idea. I just was kind of finding my way, finding my path to, I guess, what I am doing today. So, yeah, that's it. I wasn't one of those.
And you've been in makeup for how many years now?
I've been a makeup artist for 20 years. This year will be 20 years. Yeah.
So how did you wind up in makeup?
Well, I was talking to a friend of mine on the phone. He's a musician, and he is the only person I know who does exactly what he wants to do, and he makes money from it. He's the only person I know. And we were talking on the phone when I was at my corporate. I was a portfolio administrator for a huge bank here, And I was talking to him on the phone, and he was basically telling me how miserable I sounded on the phone because I just did nothing but complain about my job. All she did was just complain. And he was just like, you have to find your passion. You have to find something that's going to fulfill you. And you are completely miserable. And it was makeup that kind of was always right there. But it was so much fun for me when I got a chance to do it that I didn't think it was, I mean, how are you supposed to get paid for a job that's fun? I didn't know. I never heard of that before. You know, it was always get a job, get a corporate job, get the benefits and get this. I never knew that you could have fun at work. I didn't know that. And so I used to do people's weddings, and my girlfriends, when I was working at the bank, I would do their makeup in the bathroom, and I would do all these crazy things and weddings, and people would try to pay me, and I would say, don't pay me, I'm having so much fun. And then when I looked it up that you could actually be a makeup artist, I was like, oh, hell, I want to be a makeup artist. So that's basically it. There's my friend Sean telling me, you know, and I think I said, what would you do for free was the question he asked me. What would you do for free? Because when you do something for free and you do it continuously over and over again, it's going to, I hate to sound like that woman, it sparks joy. But it does, it sparks joy in you that you don't really think about money per se. You think about the joy that you maybe are having or the joy that you are spreading. And that was the thing, that it just constantly brought me joy, but I could see how much joy it was bringing other people. And it was just something that was like, oh man, this is really dope. I want to be a makeup artist. So I enrolled in school, night school, while I worked at the bank during the day, and used to go to work in those little, we had these like metal train cases, and I used to stroll into work. They were like, what the hell what is that? And I didn't tell anybody anything. Wow. And I just took my class, and that was about 6 months of my time. I took my class, and then I quit.
Do you want to share what school you went to? Was it a makeup school?
It's no longer, it's no longer here. It's now it's called Empire. But when I went, it was LIBS, Learning something. It was on 34th Street, right next, literally like on the same block as the Empire State Building. Mm-hmm. You'll believe it's still there. But
I'm familiar with Empire Beauty School.
Yeah, it's like Empire Beauty. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you got a training, a certification in makeup artistry?
I got that was 20 years ago. That was the first certificate that you could get when it came to professional makeup. That was the very first class that they had, that they offered certification for being a makeup artist.
So I see you work like in big brands: Revlon, Vanity Fair, Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, Rocawear, Harper's Bazaar, Tommy Hilfiger, Tory Burch, Boost Mobile. I'm wondering if your background in working in corporate America kind of like helped to be in that space?
Yeah, I think it does. I think it's a plus for me because, I don't know, I think they think that makeup artists are kind of stupid. But I feel like they do. And then I think when they talk to me and the minute I say, oh, I was in corporate America for a long time, they look at me differently. It's a difference. They go, oh, you know. I do realize, like, some of my major jobs was, I do believe, I was never told this, so I do believe that it's because of my corporate background that they hired me. I think they believed that I could handle the role of like a beauty director or something like that because of my corporate background. They felt more stable with me because of that.
Because you have a team, right?
Oh, I have teams. Yeah, I assemble teams for different events every now and then. In New York, wherever it may be, Miami, wherever it may be, and I'll have like a team of like 80 artists, hair, makeup, and nails sometimes, and I hire them all, and I run it, and we call it running the back of house, BOH, and so I run the back of house, which means I'm overseeing the entire thing to make sure it runs correctly, and I'm also sometimes doing makeup. Okay, and but I do think that my corporate background really is the reason why I got some of those jobs, was because they see how professional I am. I always tell this, when I teach other makeup artists, I always try to explain to them, this is a business. This is fun. All this is fun. This is fun. This is fun. But it's a business. And I always approach my jobs fun, but I'm very professional. And I think that's one of the reasons why I get these bigger jobs, because I am very professional when they meet me.
Is that maybe what inspired you to write your book? I mean, you literally wrote a book about how to be an assistant when people are like, want to be like a number one, but you wrote a book on like how to be a number two, right? Like how to be a supporter.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think for me, it was seeing how many makeup artists, they make the mistake of doing things. Even I made mistakes when I was assistant because I didn't know, like there was no book before mine. And assisting is extremely important in our industry. It's really one of the most valuable jobs that you can get. But when you get the opportunity and you mess it up because you really just don't know, that's the reason why I kind of wrote that book, was because, you know, I had an assistant of mine who I thought knew the rules, but apparently she didn't. And I had to, you know, we don't work together anymore. And I do feel that it was really necessary to have some type of guide for people. And I'm very proud of it. It's sold all over the world, and people buying it today. It's really cool. It's just a resource for my industry. I wrote it to help my industry, because there's a lot of unwritten things in our industry that, like I said, in makeup, in the makeup world, beauty world, that people just don't want to tell you. It's very secretive. Like, I can't tell you that. I'm like, well, why can't you tell? What the hell? Why can't you tell me? So I put it in a book.
Wow. That's great, because there's always things in certain industries that you don't know. And then people wonder, well, why am I not, adjusting and acclimating well to this space? And it's because you don't know all of like the ins and outs. So were there like any mentors for you while you were, coming up in the makeup world?
Oh yeah, I've had several mentors. I've been very fortunate, but I kind of call them, I would say they're mentors of the moment, which means they're not there to guide me and hold my hand, but they were there. Like, there was one point, I love this story because I was speaking, I was on a panel. I was in DC and I was speaking on a panel, but this was like my first real panel, And Reggie Wells, who used to be Oprah's makeup artist before Derek Rutledge right now. And I mean, Reggie, like, hello, can we just bow down? Can we bow down to Reggie Wells? And so there was a point in time that we were all staying in the same hotel, and he was in the lobby, and I had never met him before. And I was just like, oh, and he was Oprah's makeup artist at that point. So I was like, oh, there's Reggie Wells. And I was like, you better seize the moment. You better sit down and talk to him, and you better find out what you need, And so that's what I mean by mentors of the moment. And he sure enough did. He gave me a lot of information. He was very helpful to me, to kind of set me in a different path. So that's what I say, mentors of the moment. I didn't really have like a mentorship like you would have like an internship where somebody would set you up and then kind of walk you through it. No, I didn't have that, but I do have people who were, I call them my makeup angels. They were my makeup angels because they would, tell me things along the way that made me go, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I'll do it this way. They were helping to guide me. When I made mistakes that I didn't know were mistakes, they were there to tell me, oh, no, DeShawn, that's not right. You should be doing this. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, let me write that down. So that's why I say I had makeup angels more than mentors. Yeah.
I like that. Mentors for the moment.
Yeah, for the moment. They're the moment. Like, I was trying to tell, like, even when I'm talking to, I always call them the youngins because everybody's young to me. You could be 40, you could be youngin, okay? And, when I talk to them, I say, you need to, whether it's me, you're talking to me, or whomever, in whatever field, seize the moment with that person. Don't let that moment go, and make sure that you get the information that you need. Or sometimes you get the information that you didn't know you needed, but like, don't spend the time kissing ass. Like, don't spend the time, oh God, I think you're great. Oh my God, that's great. That's lovely. But spend the time getting information that will help you. You know what I mean? Like, so many people are running around, oh, I love you, DeShawn, I love your work. And that's great, and I appreciate it. But don't you want to know more? Don't you want to know how I can help you? I want to help you. The compliments are cool, but I just want to help you because I know how hard this joint is. Let me help you. And so I try to get them to understand that when you're talking to a senior artist, get the questions in your mind out and talk to them at the moment, because in that moment they could change your career. In that moment, by telling you some small thing, it could make you go, oh, damn, I didn't know that. I'm not charging enough. I didn't know that. Oh, let me figure this out. You see? But it's too much of this, what is the word? Aggrandization. There's too much of this. I love you. I love you. I love you. That's great. But when you reach us, try to get education.
Yeah.
Try to get the education. So that's why it's mentor of the moment. Anytime you meet somebody you love or you admire or who've done something that you've always wanted to do, ask them those questions. Those are the most important questions, because that's going to help guide you. Not so much, I love you, I love you, I love you.
Right. Yeah. I like that. So I see you're in the Guinness's Book of World Records for a 24-hour runway show. What was that like?
That was dope.
That
was really cool. It's 24. First of all, I'm an insomniac, so I'm up all night. So it didn't really affect me.
Okay.
It didn't affect me like it affected everybody else, but I'm a weirdo. I'm up all night. So that was cool. It was for Cotton, the Corporation of Cotton. And they hired me to run the back of house. And it's for 24 hours. You have a lot of meetings beforehand to just, whatever. And then it culminates into this forever runway. In other words, you see a fashion show. We all know what a fashion show run up and down, up and down.
Right.
This runway went down and around. And then on top of it, while you see these girls kind of walk, and guys walking ever so coolly and chill, we're in the back literally changing somebody's whole look within 5 minutes. So she could have walked out with like curly hair, and then we were back there straightening it and whatever and changing her in within 5 minutes. So that's was cool. And so it ran for 24 hours. It did not stop. It was shown all over the world. From the last count that I saw was 84 million people had watched it. And it was, I know, that's what I said. I said, what? All over the world. And so it was just like, wow. And so, yes, the Guinness Book came out and anointed us all in the longest runway ever.
And the Guinness's people, they're like there the whole time, right?
They have to clock you. They have to clock it. Yeah, so they can't like, okay, see you later. So they had like I believe they had like 2 or 3 representatives, because it's 24 hours.
Yeah.
So, they had people there to make sure it was literally 24 hours. And it was nonstop. It was nonstop. It was the coolest thing I think I've ever done in my life.
I mean, that sounds really super cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
So, I like to ask people to send their bio, but then I also do Googles, and I see you worked with Beyonce. I love Beyonce.
Yes, I did work with Beyonce, but I don't like to lie. It was a long time ago. But yes, I did. And what people seem to want to know is, how is she? She's lovely. She's a lovely, I'm pretty sure she's still lovely. She's a lovely person. She was a joy. So, and her skin, I was talking about her skin. Skin is just, skin is gorgeous. Skin is gorgeous. But she's a lovely girl. Jay's nice too. Just nice people. They just are nice people.
That's nice.
I got to work on a special project that she was doing for Jay. So that was really cool. It was nice. It was just nice. I got to meet everybody. Got to meet her family, his family, more his family than hers. It was just a beautiful thing that she was doing for her at the time, secretly her boyfriend. But now her husband.
So this was a while ago.
Yeah, this was like I think right on the cusp of them getting like married.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was really sweet. That's why I say it's a long time ago, but it was really nice to be in the presence of such a fabulous person. I mean, that is one of the things we always talk about, like when people, like I was already makeup artist at that point for like 5 or 6 years, and I thought I was doing pretty well. I didn't think I was doing so bad. And then all of a sudden I touched Beyonce and it was just like, oh my God. It's like, you're so amazing. And I'm like, but I was cool like before I touched Beyonce. Like, you know, that's, yeah. I don't have the same thing for celebrities as other people do. I just think they're people, and some of them are nice and some of them aren't. And just like some of your clients are going to be lovely and some of them aren't. So I don't have that. If you notice, I don't classify myself as a celebrity makeup artist. I'm a makeup artist. Yeah. You know,
I noticed that you had all these brands, all of these people in your bio, but never once did you say that you were a celebrity makeup artist. Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, thank you. I like being. I like makeup artists. I feel like that's just a beautiful umbrella to be, under, and I prefer to be called that. I mean, I have had so many celebrities in my chair, but I just like being a makeup artist. I just like the makeup artist. Yeah, that's just me.
You know, I do my own makeup, I do my own hair, and I do it because I'm on a budget. You know, raising these 2 kids, living in Brooklyn, it's expensive. Yeah. But, you know, I always tell everyone, like, I go to the YouTube University of hair care and makeup. So I'm wondering, like, what do you think about, you know, these YouTube girls, these Pinterest girls who share all of this? And I mean, a lot of them don't have formal training. But what do you think about that as a trained makeup artist?
I've worked, first of all, let me just say, I worked with amazing makeup artists who mentored me per se, or who I have a chance to assist, that never went to school. So you don't have to go to school. But for me, I just have an issue with the misinformation that is given, more so than, you know, I just have an issue with bad information. And when I sit back and I'm watching and I'm like, oh, don't do that. You're like, I'm sitting here as a viewer going, don't do that. You know, I just want to scream. Please don't do that. You know, like they have you guys doing weird things. I'm like, oh, no. That's dangerous. Like putting things in your eye and all these weird things. It's like, don't do that. You know, or putting my skin complexion on top of you. Don't do that. You know, it's like all those things. So that's where my issue lies, is the misinformation. Unfortunately, in a lot of these YouTubers. I wish they would, not so much, it's not like I'm asking somebody to be formally trained. I'm not, listen, I get it. Makeup is me, I get it. But you should really understand what you're doing. I think that's the key. I think you should understand what you're doing. And I could tell that though they look pretty from here to here, a lot of them just don't know what they're doing. And then they're going to sit there and tell you how to do it. And then you're going to walk around thinking, you know, oh, I got it right. And I'm like, oh, sweetie, that's not right. You know, so it's just the little things like that. You don't have to be formally trained. You could be a self-taught person, but self-taught people, they keep learning. I think that's the other thing. They keep learning. Whereas I've had self-taught people who I was teaching tell me that they didn't want to continue education because they thought they knew everything. And I'm like, well, you don't know everything. Even I don't know everything. You know, nobody knows everything. That's how I feel about it. You should always be learning, and you shouldn't be stuck on what you do per se. You should be able to kind of like meld and learn. It's just like, it's like life, right? You're learning, you're constantly learning. And so when I feel that people just don't want to learn and they just do the YouTube thing and they just do the same thing over and over and over and over again, then you don't want to learn anything other than what you're doing. So then you're teaching this weird thing, and it just, because I do like some glam. Like there's some of the people on there I do like when they beat their faces and do all that stuff. I think, oh, that's pretty. But sometimes I'm like, what the hell are you doing? You know.
Some of it is a lot.
You know, even that big red lipstick. Remember the red lipstick craze, where if you had if you had like discoloration, they were telling you put red lipstick on your face. Oh, child. I was like screaming, don't do that. All on your eyes. I was like, oh, don't do that. So like, right. You know, it's like things like that. And, you know, honestly, what makes it worse is that news people, news media, you know, will pick them up and they put them on TV as experts. And I'm like, what are you doing? These are not experts. They're far from experts. They don't know what they're doing. And then Today's Show does it. Today's Show had these people on. Good Morning America will have these people on. And I'm like, but they don't know what they're doing. That's wrong. And so that's the problem. It's like a lot of times you will look at them and we think, oh, well, they're validated because they're on national television showing you what to do. And it's hot ass mess. It's a hot ass mess. It's a hot ass. You could go back to some of these girls and you will see them messing up the makeup as they're trying to demo it because they don't know what they're doing. Because see, the thing is, it's like, it's one thing when you do your own makeup. It's another thing when you do somebody else's makeup. And that's the distinction between an Instagram and a YouTuber and a makeup artist. I have to work on everybody. I cannot not I work on everybody, Asians, Africans, everybody, men, women, children. I work on everybody. A YouTube and Instagram only works on themselves. So the only thing they see is themselves. So when you put somebody in front of them, let's say it's you, and then I sit in front of you and all you've done is your face, you will make me up like you because that's all you know. And so all of a sudden I'm going to get darker probably. I'm going to get, you know what I mean? Because that's all you know. Instead of them just learning, I just pick up a book, just learn. It seems like they just refuse to. So those are the people I just don't follow. They drive me crazy. You
know what? When I was a vocational counselor, I had this young man who he went to barbering school and he was black, and he said, I'm really upset that they don't let me cut white people's hair. And he was like, I need to learn how to cut, different textures of hair so that I can have more employment options. And I was like, that is so smart of him.
And that's the point, is like, when I went to school, it was sort of like, you had to kind of work off of each other. But I was fortunate enough where I had Asians in my class. I had white people in my class. I had some black people in my class. So I was very fortunate that I had more of a multicultural class. But if you're in one of these schools where they ain't a black person around, you don't get a chance to work on them. You don't get a chance to do anything. So you're kind of stuck. And I was fortunate to have that kind of education. But I also, like he wants to, I need to, we all need to figure out how to work off of everybody. And you have to, that's when you continue your education as well. So what I did when I left school was I had makeup parties in my house where my friends from corporate America, and I had friends of all ethnicities, they would come over my house and they would allow me to practice whatever I was doing, theatrical at the time or whatever they decided I could do, I would do. And they would come over my house, I would give them some booze and sit back and I would be doing this. And they allowed me to do that, So, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, I went to school, but I am also a self-taught person because I had to continue my education. And that's what he was trying to do. He's trying to continue his education because I want to reach the masses. I don't want to work on somebody who's a light-skinned black girl the rest of my life. That's ridiculous. I want to work on everybody. And he wants to work on everybody too.
So I'm wondering if that's maybe really what the industry problem is. Like when you talk about these black shows or when we are like on social media and a lot of, like black artists are saying like they don't know how to do their makeup. Is it really, it's just maybe because they just don't know because they haven't had the exposure?
Well, see, this is where the controversy comes in, because at this level, at that level, you are supposed to know what you're doing at that level. You are in the union, you are working. The union has very strict rules. You have to be able to do this and that, blah, blah, blah. Before you can get in it, you have to supposedly take tests and everything. But these people wind up on these sets and they can't do black people. See, that's an issue. So I thought you had rules, but I guess you don't. I guess you only have rules for me or whatever. It doesn't seem like you have rules for the white people that show up because they can't work on black people. And we keep hearing it time and time again, how jacked up black people are getting on these sets. I mean, I'm so thankful that they're opening up their mouths finally, because it's a huge issue. It is a huge issue. Black girls getting their hair fried off because they don't know how to take care of it. I just saw a video not too long ago. There was a couple of brothers on there, a couple of black actors. They were talking about having natural hair and they don't know what to do with it. And they just pat my head and tell me to go out on set. That's not cool. You're getting paid a lot of money for that job. It's a very cushy job. The union is very cush. And then on top of it, you turn around and you don't have work on black people. So then why are you even in the union? Why are you there? Why are you working when there are so many other people, whether they're black, white, blue, green, I don't care what color a person may be, who has the ability to work on other people. But why are you there is the question. You know, I have an issue with that. I've always had an issue with that. Don't make no damn sense to me. It makes no sense. We talk about this all this is like a bane of our thing. It's just like, why can't you work on Black people? What is the problem? And you should be able to, as an artist, a hairstylist, a makeup artist, maybe not a nail tech. I mean, that might be universal, but you know, as a hair and makeup person, you really should be able to work on all different types of textures. I can do hair. I'm not the hair guru. I ain't gonna sit up and tell you I'm a hairstylist, okay? But I'm a makeup artist that does hair.
Okay.
I can work on white people. I can work on Asian people. I can work on people with hair like mine. I can work on all these different people. Why can't you?
Because it sounds like it's skill level, right? Like you have to have versatile skills and be able to work.
You're supposed to, but like I said, these like the jobs that we're talking about that we see that these Black folks are complaining. These are union positions. That's the creme de la creme, by the way. That's union positions and or agency. Agencies are where a whole bunch of like, they'll pick. I say pick. I'm going to use it for a better term. They will pick makeup. I'm going to use makeup artists instead of hair, but they will pick makeup artists to represent. And out of that little barrel of people that they pick and choose, then let's say you say, I'm looking for a makeup artist for my movie or for my celebrity. I'm going to go to this agency because I know they have a nice bunch of makeup artists I could choose from. Right? Instead of calling all over and saying, I need a makeup artist, they just go straight to an agency to find them.
Okay.
Right? And so the point is that you're picking, when you at that level, you're picking from supposedly a great crop of artists. They're the creme de la creme. And when you have that, and then you say, I want DeShawn. For some reason, I just want DeShawn because in her book, we have things called books or what would you guys call it? Websites now or pages or something like that, right? So there's pages representing me. So my work is up and you'll see it, right? And you might see my work and say, oh, she works on Black people too. I'll take her, right? But you know, with all the arguments and stuff that happens, sometimes these girls, these models, these celebrities and all this stuff, they do their own makeup. They do their own makeup, but guess what? DeShawn gets to keep the image. So I get to put it up on my site. I get to represent myself as I am a broad makeup artist. Do you see what I'm saying? Wow. This is where the problem is starting to come in. But we're only finding out about this because the celebrities are finally saying something. They're coming out from behind the scenes and they're really and they have every right to complain because this is what's happening behind the scenes that people don't seem to understand. Like there's a levels to everything in all lives. There are A, B, C, D. There are levels. When you reach an agency and a union level, you are supposed to be here with your skill. And a lot of times what we're hearing now is that they're not because they can't work on everybody. That's an issue.
Wow.
You know, that's a huge issue.
Thank you for sharing that. So has your job changed since we've been in COVID-19, the Rona, this pandemic?
Oh, God. Yeah. Girl, that mask is kicking my ass. Okay. Mask, I have my shield. You have to do things somewhat in a different way. It's just very interesting. I mean, I still do it in very much the same way, but you just have to be very, very, very careful with a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's just different. It's just a little different. You can't hug. See, the thing about being a makeup artist, I know people are like, you're so corny, DeShawn, but I don't care. When my clients hug me, it means a great deal. It just means you just such, you know what I mean? Like a hug, right? Yeah. I know people are like, I'd rather have some money. I get that, but I like a hug. I'm a hugger too. I'm a hugger too. Yeah. And so now you can't really like, you know, they want to hug, because at the end of the thing, they want to hug me. No, and I'm like, oh, I can't. We can't. We can't do anything. So I miss my hugs. That's what I miss. That's the thing I miss the most. I miss my hugs. That's it.
It sounds like it takes a very personal experience and it kind of like depersonalizes it at the end. Yeah. It
does, because you know a lot of times it's like you get an opportunity because you're face to face with somebody, so they get to see your facial expressions. Like there might be a time like a person might be on like we call a set. So when you see them click, 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 click. So they're on set. And a lot of times, you know, first of all, you keep your distance, so you're 6 feet away. So I make sure I'm 6 feet away because sometimes people get very insecure on set, even though they may be actors and actresses and singers. But sometimes they just get insecure, and then you're standing there and you want to help them and you want to cheer them on, but you got this big ass thing on your face. I can't see you. So every now and then I'll pull it back and, I'm not near anybody. And I'm like, come on. It's like, but it depersonalizes the service. It
Yeah.
really, it takes the warmth, I think, away. I think so. I miss it.
So I usually ask people like for advice, but I think you gave some like really great advice about, asking questions and staying in the moment when you meet someone and not getting super starstruck.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll end the conversation with, how can we follow you? How can we support you? Are there any projects? I know you have a YouTube page. You want to tell us about what's happening on your YouTube page? You got a lot of followers.
I'm trying to get to that 10,000. My YouTube page is very important to me because it's such hard work, and you know that, Ebony. It's hard work. And my YouTube page is really for anybody who is interested in becoming a makeup artist, or who just wants to understand what we go through. So that is under my name. All social media is under DeShawn Hatcher. Check me out on Instagram, even though honestly, listen, people, I ain't gonna lie, I don't have that much on Instagram that is picture worthy, but check it out anyway. I'll do better, I promise. So just follow me on Instagram, and please stop by my YouTube and give me a tee-hee-hee. And then also Facebook, I'm on Facebook as well. So yeah, that's it. That's my social media. That's my world. Come on, stop by. And everything I do is really geared towards helping makeup artists. So if you're a newbie, if you're a zero to year like 6 or 7, I'm your girl. If you need any help, that's where you go. I'm your girl for that.
DeShawn, thank you so much, and welcome to the Liberated Success family and community. This was awesome.
Thank you, Miss Ebony, for having me, and everybody listen to Miss Ebony because she knows what she's talking about.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Ebony.
Tell me that wasn't a lot of fun. You laughed a lot, right? Because I was chuckling the whole time. Like when I watched it over, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so great. All right, so look, she dropped some jewels, right? So these were the 3 things for me. Ask yourself, what would you do for free? Yes, you can have fun getting paid. Work should be joyful. And are you bringing joy to the work? Look, liberating success it's a lot of work, but it brings me so much joy to be here to put this together for us. So that really resonated with me. Stop fangirling and boy-girling out when you meet people that you are inspired by. Like, they can be your mentor for the moment. Get that information. Ask them all the questions. Be in that moment, right? Like, don't be out here taking selfies with them. Kind of reminds me of that time when I was at the Beyonce concert and I ran into Maya Keisha Lance Bottoms, and I was just so excited to meet her and thank her about how amazing she is that I didn't even get a selfie. Seize the moment when you're with people and ask questions. All right. And the last takeaway for me was formal education is not necessary, but you have to constantly be learning to improve your skills so that you can be excellent at your work. So listen, thank you so much, DeShawn. Welcome to the Liberated Success community. I can't wait to connect with you again in the future. So look, folks. Oh, also make sure you subscribe to her channel. Okay. Get some makeup tips. So speaking of subscribing, have you sent me your email so that you can subscribe to our monthly newsletter? That's where I have all the updates, and we have an event happening next month, and you will only know about that event if you are subscribed to our newsletter. Also, I know you're gearing up, dealing with these kids going back to school. Is this going to be remote? Is it going to be, in-person learning? Is it going to be a hybrid? Whatever it is, the guidance counselors can't do it themselves. And we as parents are going to have to, invest into our kids. Like, we're going to have to invest some money to get them the extra support. And specifically around careers, right? How many parents have said to me, oh, I put him in this training. I paid for this training for him. I spent money and I sent him all the way up there to that school. After one semester, he didn't like it, and now I'm out my money. Listen, parents, let's do the upfront planning, right? And what that looks like is let's spend some time really looking at our students' interests, their strengths, and really structuring a career plan for them. Liberated Success, that's what we do. Okay? We provide online supports, career counseling services to students. And we do this all over the country. Okay? I've got a client right now in Delaware. And we meet remotely. So listen, all you got to do is make sure that you're subscribed to my newsletter so that you can get the link to get a free 15-minute consultation. All right? So this is your back to school special. Okay? So we got a couple of things happening. But you only going to get this goodness is if you are subscribed to my newsletter. So make sure you drop your email in the comments, or you can DM me. All right? So look, we always got the GoFundMe. We always trying to raise money for our liberated problem solvers, and we trying to raise money for our first cohort of students in a liberated internship spring 2021. We're a community. I'm only going to get this done with you. So you know where the links are at. Also, save ourselves, right? We're saving ourselves. We're not waiting for others to take care of us, right? We're wearing our masks. We're washing our hands. We're socially distancing. We're understanding that all Black Lives Matter. And we know that we need to vote for Biden and Harris in November. All right, guys. Thank you for watching till the end, and I will see you next week. Bye.